Hi again, folks. In this video, we're going to take a look at the trade deadline and our unrestricted free agents, what we might be able to get for them. Coming up. All right, guys, I wanted to go over this because before we know it, March will be here. March 21st to be exact. And we have a bunch of unrestricted that we got to try and get something for. I don't care if they're 5th rounders, 6th rounders. We got to try and get something for some of these guys, okay? So I want to go over some of the names that I believe. Well, I'm going to go over all the unrestricted, but we're going to take a look at what we think we can get for these guys. Now, I'm going to start with the forwards. We'll go with Cody Eakin. Cody Eakin is a 2.25 cap hit. He's 30. And I believe, is he the one having a birthday soon? Let me just check. No, he isn't. All right, he's going to be 31 though at year's end. So if he's on a playoff team, he'll be 31 while they're in that playoffs. All right, so he is unrestricted next year. And I do believe that Cody Eakin, as many as people don't like him, can get probably the most of our unrestricted, you know? So I'm hoping that we can, because centers are in demand, and let me just check something here. He leads the team in face-offs. Okay, he leads the team in face-offs. He is 56.5%. That's going to have a premium for some teams. It will. Now, how much of a premium? I don't think any more than a 3rd rounder. So I'm going to say if we can get a 3rd rounder for Cody Eakin, we should think about it. Because otherwise, some of these guys are going to walk and go sign elsewhere. It's the way it works, even if the team's winning or losing. It's just the way it works. Cody Eakin, if we can get a 3rd rounder. Next, Vinny Hinostroza. I like Vinny Hinostroza. I like what he brings. I like he's got that energy I like. I don't want to lose Vinny Hinostroza. He's 27. His cap hit's just over $1 million, so he's just over league minimum. For what he brings for $1 million, we should hang on to Vinny Hinostroza for our 4th line. Bottom 6, of course. But next year, we got to think of next year too, you know, and we can't just lose everybody. I would like to hang on to him. If we let him go, also another one. I think we could get something like a 3rd rounder. Might be less. You know, it might be. He's not a center, so it might be less. Next forward, John Hayden. Now, John Hayden, I think we're going to keep because the team needs size, and the truth is we need some physical play on this team, and to start getting rid of the guys that, you know, that just aren't, I mean, if we get rid of, sorry, I'm trying to fix something here. Yeah, if we get rid of the guys, Hayden right now is leading the team in hits. You just don't trade that. That's an element of our game that we desperately lack, and to get rid of the guy that's doing it the most would be boneheaded and stupid, especially when we can get him dirt cheap next year in another contract. We could. And he's going to get better. He's not like over the hill by any means, right? So if we look at his age, he is 26. He's 26, and his birthday is when? February. It's right around the corner. So he's going to be 27. I say we keep Hayden. I'd like to keep Hayden also. I'd like to keep Hinostroza. Eakin, I could see moving from if we got like a 3rd round pick. I don't think we could get a 2nd. But all these guys, I would not, you know, Hayden brings an element to his game. So does Hinostroza. These guys all have elements to their game. So I would hate to lose all, you know. Next on defense, we're going to go with Colin Miller. Colin Miller, I believe, can probably get us the most. We might be able to get a 2nd rounder for Colin Miller because he's right. He's a right-sided defenseman, and that's in demand everywhere. You know, we have to look at that. And Miller this year has not been bad. He really hasn't. Let me check the blocks. He's third on the team in blocks. He's fifth on the team in hits. And, sorry folks, he is eighth on the team in ice time. I don't see any, it doesn't make any sense for us to not at least try when it comes to somebody like Colin Miller to get something. And his plus minus is at 0 on this team. So everybody above him in the scoring is in the minus, but not Colin Miller. So it's something that teams will look at. Teams look at these things. But the most important thing, I think, he's right-sided, and that's in demand everywhere. So that is something we should probably be a little hard on in negotiations if we move him. But again, he's unrestricted. If we're going to do this, we got to make these moves soon. We can't just hang on to these guys to the deadline and then move them. Because if we do that, for sure half of them, and I'll fill you in at the end, something important here, half of them at least will just walk anyway. I mean, next, Will Butcher. Okay, Will Butcher, I would say outright, if we can get a 4th or a 5th round pick for him, move him. Get the salary off the books. Simple as that with Will Butcher. Don't hate the guy, but he hasn't been anything that spectacular, as we all know. And I'm just checking where Butcher is in hits. And he is, yeah, he's nowhere to be seen, basically, here. Oh, that's weird. He's not on here. Hold on. How am I missing this? No, he's not here. Oh, well, that's bizarre. They made a mistake here. Oh, no. No, they didn't. Oh, jeez. He's way down there. 20th. Yeah, Butcher has been anything but impressive. So, Butcher, if we can get a 4th or 5th round pick, move him. Best to get a young prospect and throw the dice. Next. Robert Hagg. We got to keep him. We got to keep Robert Hagg. Some people haven't been that impressed. I've liked him. Robert Hagg, we got to keep. We can get him at a good price. He likes playing here. And he's physical. And I have no problem. He's the one UFA on the defense I want to see kept is Robert Hagg. So moving on from that. Mark Pysyk has probably been quietly our most steady defenseman this year. Quietly, I say. He hasn't been jaw-dropping or anything like that. His hits are, if you look at his hits, he's 7th. He's got, under a hit a game average. But I put a lot of the hits guys on this team on the coaching staff. We've got to do something. We've got to do something to address that. We can't just get guys that are physical and then they come over here and they see the system's light. No. That's on Granato. I'm getting fed up with Granato when it comes to the wuss game that he puts out there. I am. It's starting to bug me. All right, so Hagg we got to keep. He's physical. Hayden we got to keep. He's physical. We got to keep the guys that at least hit. God, we have nobody that hits. So that would be a disaster if we start moving all these guys. But Pysyk, there was something that was, here we go. He's a +2. He's a +2, and which for our defenseman, anybody in the plus, that's really good. So he's a +2. And his hits are, like I said, they're nothing mind-blowing, but when you look at his ice time, he's logged 19 minutes a game for us, guys. I mean, it's, for $1 million, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But Pysyk, the problem, he's 29 turning 30 in a few days. So we're most likely going to move on from Pysyk also, I believe. Ethan Prow, well, that's an emergency loan, so I don't know where we stand there. I really don't. He probably will not get much more time in the bigs, I'm guessing. Not that he's played bad, he hasn't. So all power to him if he sticks around. So that's one that we really shouldn't concern ourselves with yet. Malcolm Subban, no way to know. There's just no way to know. We have to see what happens the offseason with our goaltending. Mark Jankowski, we probably should try and get something for. And Dustin Tokarski also. If we plan to move from him, we should also. But I think Tokarski likes it in Buffalo. So my guess is he might stick around. Craig Anderson, no way to know. If he's going to retire, if he's going to play again, there's no way to know. And Kadula is 27. He's unrestricted at the end of the year. That's really about it that I wanted to go over. I mean, I'm looking at our depth charts. Aaron Dell, of course, we're not keeping. So if you look, I mean, what was the highest I think we can get is a second rounder, right, for Miller. That's kind of pushing it. I know it's kind of pushing it. But we have to see what's in demand at the time, how the market is at the time. Whoops, I forgot my microphone's not on the corner on this shirt. It really depends. It's going to depend on what management think they can get. And if they can only get a third rounder, I'm sure they'll do it. I'm sure they'll do it. If they could get a third rounder for Miller, they'll probably do it. I think Miller would draw a third rounder. I do. And I think also Eakin could also. I think those are the two guys that can bring in third round picks. There's nothing jaw-dropping after that, folks. There really isn't. Unless we're starting to look at players, which is a whole other video. But we could look at players we can move. That's possible. And oh yes, the good news with all these unrestricted, none of them have no movement clause. We can trade them anywhere, outright anywhere. So we're in good shape there. No matter what, we can move anybody we want anywhere, which is really, it gives us some flexibility. If we get a third round pick, we can just move them tomorrow. Something like that. So I wanted to throw that out there, see what you guys think. I mean, I was looking at, if I was just to take a quick glimpse at the, just some of the players that could be moved that aren't unrestricted, that are under contract. There's not many. I mean, Okposo's a keeper. He's going to stay. Tuck is. Skinner's going nowhere. Bjork maybe could be moved. Tage Thompson's staying. Krebs, of course, staying. Asplund staying. Dahlin staying. Yokiharu not moving. Casey Fitzgerald staying. Emergency loan. So we can't even really think about moving him. So that's really it. We're going to keep the guys in the AHL back in the AHL eventually. And there's really no other teams that are going to be knocking on the door for Casey Fitzgerald, believe it or not. Not yet. And Middlestat, and of course, we're not moving. So, there's not much for us to be at the deadline getting unless we make the ultimate sacrifice and we trade one of our first rounders. Then there could be some drama in Buffalo. If something like that happens, I think I'd be as surprised as you guys if we went that route. I'd be really, really surprised. So I'm expecting them to get some picks. I'm hoping to get, out of all those names, I'm hoping to get maybe 4 picks. At least a few third rounders, I'm hoping. And some 5th, 6th rounders, 7th rounders, whatever, it's fine. Just clear the cap, bring in the new faces. Because we're going to have to change up the team. We can't keep this roster. We're not winning with it. So, this isn't about to grow into a championship team, guys. Some of these players might, but not this roster. So we've got to make some changes in the roster next year. And at the deadline. I could see us at the deadline being big, quick movers of guys that we could get picks for. I mean, better picks than nothing. And that way you could just bring up AHL guys, finish out the season, the rest of the year. So it's it can be done, but will the Sabres do it? Do they even know they should do it? Is a different thing, right? So I don't know. I'm guessing they know they're going to lose all these guys for free. I mean, not all of them will be in demand, don't get me wrong, but, some of them will be. Coda Eakin would find a home. So would Colin Miller. So there's certain guys that'll find homes if we don't get something for them. And we better get something for them while we can. Okay, that's it for this one. I'm going to see you guys in the post game. Let's hope the Sabres slap some sort of sense it to themselves and get a game today that we can be a little proud of by the end of it. My God. I want to win one. See you tonight, folks.